Landscape design is a pure art. It's not something that we want to do just to collect a paycheck. It's something we want to do to make an impact on our environment and our community. I am James Martin, owner and lead designer at Gulfside Landscaping. I travel all over the world to visit and tour gardens that have been around for hundreds of years. So I take this opportunity to draw on those gardens as inspiration and bring back to Pensacola all of these different garden concepts and design techniques, whether it's from Florence, Italy, or Amsterdam, or North America in Glacier National Park. And what I do is I take pictures of everything and I can visually dissect exactly what makes that entire picture work in every component, and that's what we do in landscape design. This property, in particular, with all of the hardwoods and the forestry that's surrounding, is incredibly beautiful. It's located on Bayou Texar. So I approach the property, start walking down the driveway, and see these beautiful hardwoods. It's a complete different concept than what we see most of the time because mature trees just don't exist much anymore on many lots here in Pensacola because of Hurricane Ivan. So now we have this beautiful estate with large hardwoods, which will allow me to come in and design a project that is conducive to shade-loving plants. As I'm walking down the driveway, I notice a large vacant area to the right where vehicles park. And I'm thinking, that would be a great parking area. But we had to do something with it to create a valid parking spot. So I approached the home. The first thing I noticed is the absolute gorgeous architecture of the home. European style, beautiful, incredibly detailed on the exterior of the home. I love working with all of my clients. This particular client and her husband, absolutely fantastic people. She didn't know exactly what she wanted, but she had an idea. And I said, I want every idea that you have in your mind, and I will interpret those ideas onto paper. One of her favorite places is Oneonta, Alabama. She loved the covered bridges from Oneonta, Alabama. And Oneonta is a beautiful area with large native oak leaf hydrangeas and covered bridges and rocks that protrude from the ground when you have large trees and vegetation. So we wanted to recreate that woodlands look from Oneonta, Alabama. Nature, flora, and fauna are both important here. Wild animals all over the bayou come through here, nest here, live here, and so we wanted to create a landscape that was conducive to inviting wildlife in. We wanted to keep this natural look, something like the Atlanta Botanical Gardens or from Mountain Brook, and where we have the hardwoods, and then we take a stroll through the trails. We wanted to bring in the stone from Tennessee, North Alabama. The construction process that goes along with estate landscapes like this, or any landscape project, whether it's $5,000 or $3 million, we measure twice and cut once. There's a tremendous amount of planning that goes into everyone's project, whether you're spending $5,000 or you're spending $3 million or $4 million or $5 million. We plan, plan, plan. First process is my assistant will go out and take all of the measurements. We situate the house on the property. We make certain we know what elevation changes there are, what the slope is, all the structures that are important that we need to know about on the property, driveway, residence, outlying structures. Then we come back, I get a glass of wine, turn on a little Frank Sinatra, and I take sketch paper and I lay it over the top, and then I start designing. And I go, okay, I need color here, color there. I want this to be beautiful. Now, when the client enters through the driveway, what's it going to look like in May, June, and July? When the client enters the driveway to the residence, what's it going to look like in December, January, and February? When they're sitting outside in March, what's going to be in bloom? So I take all of this, combined with the wine, the music, and we make all this beautiful magic happen.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can. Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Prior to the execution of the project, day one, we've made all the plans. We know what's going to happen. The first step is to tear out everything that we're not going to utilize. We're going to start tearing out dead trees. We're going to start tearing out dead grass, foliage that we're not going to keep. We may have some expired camellias or expired hardwoods that are dead. We want to remove them. And we want a fresh, clean palette to make certain that when I start spraying out bed lines, that everything is clear and clean and we know exactly how we're going to go according to plan. Now this was an enormous project which required several days of just simple tear out, but it was all done logistically and at the proper time so that we didn't create any problems for the bayou. On a sloped yard, if we tear out too much and it rains, we could have tremendous issues with water runoff into the bayou, taking sand into the bayou. We want to make certain that does not happen. I prefer the analogy to the conductor in a symphony. Basically, I have all these different components of this musical composition of plants, trees, flowers, and I'm the one that's directing when the violins are to come in, or when the brass are supposed to come in, or my strings come back through. It's a crescendo, and then we approach, and then we have a decrescendo. So as the conductor of this entire project, I want to make certain that I'm through here and go, okay, boom, take out the grass over here, take out the dead trees, and then come over here, and we're going to have this loud timpani sound, and we're going to take out a large swath of vegetation we're never going to use again. The last thing that we do when we have finished out the tear is we make certain that we have a good planting medium everywhere. A lot of people think that you have to have topsoil. Topsoil contains a tremendous amount of weed material, weed seed material. We don't want to bring that into the landscaping. Now, it's great if you're in a vegetable garden and you're doing organic gardening, you can deal with the weeds. So we bring in sandy, loamy soil, no clay, no red clay. I see this all the time. People bring in this red clay and they want to plant sod in all these new landscape homes. Don't do it. Make certain that your builder uses sandy, loamy soil, because we see people all the time, I can't make my grass grow. Well, you can't because the root systems can't get down. It holds too much water. So take a little bit of effort like we do. The last step, sandy, loamy soil everywhere you're going to plant. This project contains 400,000 pounds of stone and boulders in it. Let Gulfside Landscaping make all your outdoor living dreams a reality. With over 20 years of experience, Gulfside Landscaping has had the distinct honor to design some of the most exquisite projects along the Gulf Coast. Whether your budget is $5,000 or $5 million, let a designer from Gulfside Landscaping meet with you, discuss your needs, and create the masterpiece of a landscaping you've always wanted. Call or click today to see how one of the designers at Gulfside can make your landscaping a work of art.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
This project contains 400,000 pounds of stone and boulders in it. There were multiple facets to this project. We had to have the color right, we had to have the patterns right, the size. With the flagstone that was going on the ground, I wanted large sheets of flagstone to be at areas that were high traffic. Mixing colors, so important. Got to make sure that you got the gray with the browns and that all the pieces fit together. You don't want too many small pieces together. You don't want too many large pieces together. The other aspect of this project was we had some existing stone that was here on the project. You'll see the stone down here. It has grays, browns, purples, and tans, and some lighter grays with purples in them. So I had to make certain that the stone we picked out coincides with the stone that's existing on the residence. So instead of going to our local retail outlets and just pick whatever's available, I got this top secret quarry I love to go to. Honest to God above, this is top secret. I'm not going to tell anybody where it's at. It's a fantastic place that has great customer service. They love me. They know that I'm extremely detailed. And I go through pallets and pallets of stone, and I'll go through veins where they'll pull stone off the side of a mountain for me. How do they do it? They blast it out of the side of a mountain. That's all I know. I don't want to know any other part of it. We had 10 tractor-trailer loads of stone coming down. How in the world on this tiny street can we not impact the neighbors and make it a minimal impact and still get 10 tractor-trailer loads, make certain that we have 20 people on the project running and doing everything they need to do, get those 10 tractor-trailer loads of here and not impact the irrigation guys, get the stone here and not impact the guys that are putting in trees. To avoid a logistics nightmare, we have to have these trucks coming down at increments. And so we start with the back and make our way forward. Everything works out fantastic, and what's important is there are not a lot of companies and designers that can handle the logistical process of this without having complete chaos. We want minimal impact to our client. This client was extremely happy and said that they were very happy because it was minimal impact. This is our beautiful parking area. We had to level the area out to allow ingress and egress. We had to create a retaining wall. We didn't want to go in with a simple block wall. We wanted to continue that theme with these massive boulders. Every one of these boulders was handpicked by yours truly to make certain that the color of each boulder and the size and the shape fit with the entire landscape package. My inspiration for this gorgeous boulder retaining wall was when I was hiking the Spanish Peaks with a dear friend of mine in Montana. We came upon this gorgeous area where it looked like the boulders had simply erupted from the ground with a different color, a different shape. Never forgot it, and so I brought it back to beautiful Pensacola, Florida.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Vertical element is the single most important aspect when tying the landscaping in with the structure that is on the property, or in most cases, the residence. In most cases, we have to add the vertical element to the project because of the tremendous amount of construction that happens, and unfortunately trees become removed from the site. This was a dream landscape because all of the vertical element existed. All we had to do was add the exquisite forest pansy redbud, the camellia sasanquas, we added some of the japonicas. We've got beautiful flowering understory trees because the vertical element was already here. This is a gorgeous forest pansy redbud. It's in the redbud family but has a purple heart-shaped foliage and still has that beautiful pink flower in the springtime. We added additional vertical element to the sides of the property with the magnolias, the little gem magnolias. They're not going to become the massive southern, the grandiflora magnolias. They're gorgeous, they're compact, and it offers screening on both sides. In the center of the driveway, we installed a massive Beautiful Tomukiyama Japanese maple. It's a dissecting variety. There was a crepe myrtle in there, a Natchez crepe myrtle, but it blended into the canopy of the massive live oak that was above it. I can understand how someone would think they needed an upright vertical element there. However, a true landscape designer would see that we already had the vertical element. We needed a centerpiece. What better to use than a dissectum variety called Tomukiyama? It does not grow upright. It grows out and will fill that 12-foot diameter beautifully. Why in the world should your landscape only just bloom in the springtime? Everyone goes, everything's just gorgeous in the spring, but then it doesn't look so good towards the middle or end of summer.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Let Gulfside Landscaping make all your outdoor living dreams a reality. With over 20 years of experience, Gulfside Landscaping has had the distinct honor to design some of the most exquisite projects along the Gulf Coast. Whether your budget is $5,000 or $5 million, let a designer from Gulfside Landscaping meet with you, discuss your needs, and create the masterpiece of a landscaping you've always wanted. Call or click today to see how one of the designers at Gulfside can make your landscaping a work of art. Why in the world should your landscape only just bloom in the springtime? Everyone goes, everything's just gorgeous in the spring, but then it doesn't look so good towards the middle or end of summer. There are plants that we can get to bloom in the middle or the end of summer. We can get plants to bloom 3 or 4 times a year. Most people don't even know that there are azaleas that will bloom 3 to 4 times a year with the Encore azalea. I absolutely love Agapantha, the beautiful flowers on here. We know summer's right here, right now, when we see this gorgeous flower blooming. And look at that gorgeous oak leaf hydrangea right here with these endless summer hydrangeas for color all summer long. The other aspect is it's cold here in the wintertime and we get gray skies, so we need color in the garden during the wintertime. We can get this color starting in October, going all the way through February with the use of Camellia sasanquas and Camellia japonicas. Front entrance, color impact with these gorgeous coleus. We've got pink and green, lime, the dwarf magilla, and finally we end up with the Dianella. This area of the landscape is absolutely spectacular. We've got this gorgeous coral drift rose, the Agapantha blooming at the same time, and then after the Agapantha have completed, then the black-eyed Susans will come into bloom with the yellow cone flower and a brown center. The Encore azaleas will transition and will get a bloom late summer. The African irises are in bloom, the oak leaf hydrangeas, and then this little tiny green thing is an Austrinium canescens or a native azalea, and it'll bloom early spring. Then we'll transition into the japonicas, lots and lots of color throughout the entire year. You can do this at home. Pick up at your garden shop different foliages, make certain that they're for your area, the color, the light, the sun, and just mix the colors in together and you can come up with the same floral display. Spiller, filler, and thriller. Everybody wants a pot at their home where they have something that's upright, something that's lower, and then something that spills over the edges. Makes a perfect planter pot, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, 25 bucks to go to the store to get a few flowers. Next up, we're going to install the turf grass. Geozoysia turf grass, low pile, low growing, fantastic on bare feet. Love this stuff. It does fantastic in sandy, well-drained soil, as well as most turf grasses do. It's a low pile, emerald green, and it looks like something from Augusta, Georgia on the golf course. It's absolutely gorgeous, easy to take care of, does not require a real mower. A rotary mower will do just fine. If the irrigation is not correct on this project, it will never, ever be great. turf grass requires a different amount of water than plant materials do. Big trees that are balled and burlap require a bubbler on them to do well. A lot of people hire an irrigation company to simply come in, put an irrigation system in, and then they're ready to landscape with another company. The problem is we have to go back in and retrofit everything because the turf grass has to have a lot more water in most circumstances than the plant material does. And if you've got one of those yards where there's a dense soil composition, your grass doesn't need as much water. The final thing is that we have no rotors with sprays. You never mix your precipitation rates. It's a common mistake. We see it all the time. If you're going to install an irrigation system, and you must, it has to accommodate the landscape design that you are going to install, period. No ifs, ands, or buts, or your landscape will not be viable.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
When meeting with the client, she was questioning whether or not the structure should be replaced and or painted. My first thought was, with the patina of the algae, the white, it is exquisite. Nothing says old Europe or European than the look of this pergola here. It's absolutely gorgeous. We left the Carolina jasmine on it that has a yellow flower. It has an antiquated look that completely coincides with this stacked stone and then the garden effect with the flowers and the surrounding magnolias. No way I would paint this pergola, no way I would replace it nor take down this very mature vine. This is a gorgeous property located on Bayou Texar in Pensacola, Florida. So we wanted the client to be able to utilize different outdoor living spaces. First starts on the primary deck up here, enjoying the seasonal color. Then as you walk down, there's a kayak area, and we wanted to hide that from the rest of the landscape. So it was key that we include vegetation to include or encompass the kayaks with a shower, so when they're done kayaking in the bayou, they can come back in. And it doesn't impede nor obstruct the overall landscape plan. And then we have an additional seating area down at the water to look out over the glossy, glassy water on their beautiful stone patio. It's really important to make certain that our clients can live in their landscape spaces. When we first began, this was nothing but a grassy area. Now we can sit down and enjoy a beautiful view and a great glass of wine here on Bayou Texar. Let Gulfside Landscaping make all your outdoor living dreams a reality. With over 20 years of experience, Gulfside Landscaping has had the distinct honor to design some of the most exquisite projects along the Gulf Coast. Whether your budget is $5,000 or $5 million, let a designer from Gulfside Landscaping meet with you, discuss your needs, and create the masterpiece of a landscaping you've always wanted. Call or click today to see how one of the designers at Gulfside can make your landscaping a work of art.
Across the heart of America, there are lakes, rivers, and other beautiful places where we love to hike, canoe, swim, and spend time outdoors with family and friends. They provide us with clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, and memories that will last a lifetime. The Nature Conservancy protects the places we love for people and the abundance of life that shares our planet, today and for generations to come. You can help. Join us today.
We make your outdoor living dreams come true. That's what we do. I love my job. I have no greater joy than bringing all this incredible color throughout all of the seasons of the year and letting it explode and make my clients happy to see the blue agapantha or the white hydrangeas or the endless summer hydrangeas or the orange cross vine that's going to crawl over the garage. I love the color, the seasonal color. It's just a spectacular, symphonic, choreographed display of plant material. We've completed this beautiful project on Bayou Texar. I absolutely cannot wait to bring you our next landscape masterpiece.